Okay, Mikovanen, everyone, this is sort of a test to see if my voice is still, coming out okay. I changed my microphone setup. It's very slightly closer more to my face, and I decreased the gain, and I raised the microphone level on the desktop by 1, so from 94 to 95. I don't know if that makes a difference. And the thing is, I did notice, and you guys probably noticed it too, is that you could hear the fan from my computer, and you can also probably hear the fan that I have going on in here, because I like to try to keep the room cool. So I have just a regular, a fan, just a fan, in addition to the PC fans, so you were hearing that. So I just wanted to make sure, that this level is okay and I can still be heard. Most likely you'd still have to turn up the volume, but that's why for all my Let's Plays, in the past, I have the game turned down low, so that way when you do raise the volume, you not only hear me, but you hear the game as well. But it shouldn't be, so loud that, the game is overpowering my voice. I always considered the Let's Player voice, the commentary, to take precedent over, the game volume. But of course not drowning it out completely. So something I noticed, and I guess, let me see here, something really cool. So I'm doing this just as a test, and I guess it would be random stuff I talk about with Oblivion Remastered. Oh yeah, also I lowered the volume a bit here, as you can see, so it looks like this. Right? Okay. If I start the game, it should be okay, right? I'm not going to save anything. I'm just, well, you'll see. And I think I could skip all this.
I was born 87 years ago. For 65 years,
Okay. I hear people are having issues with the game crashing and all of that. I guess so far, luckily for me, I haven't been crashing. I don't recall any kind of freezing. That could also be my settings. They're not out. Maybe show those in a little bit. There is the, occasional micro stutter that happens, which happens to everyone else. No matter where you put, the detail or draw distance, whether it's on medium or high, it's still the same thing, or even on the lowest, it will still do it. I've seen a few other videos that, talked about that. No matter where they, what? Why is it two things? What? Oh, that's weird. You see that? It's like two races, but it's not. No matter, what setting, low setting, high setting, whatever, it still does a micro stutter, and also I googled it, but it's nothing to do with your PC so much. It's the Unreal Engine 5, and that's just how it is. So hopefully that can Bethesda and Virtuos can put out a patch to kind of address that. Something really cool though I wanted to showcase, and I felt like I glossed over it, during character creation. But if you go ahead and watch it back, I did mention it, but I didn't, at the same time, draw attention to it, even though deep down inside I knew it was a new thing. What you have here is Origin, and there are two to choose from. And, a fun fact about this is having an Origin, or backstory like this, where you can select something like this, was the original idea that Bethesda had for Oblivion back in the day, when that came out. You know, when they were creating it, they always wanted to have each race have an origin. Now, I don't know if they intended to have more than just this two, but them putting it back in, you know, with, you know, two choices, you know, for each race, is sort of like a nod to that, I guess, paying tribute to what they intended to do back then. So you know, you more or less have an idea of you know, what they intended to do back then, to a certain extent, and it doesn't do anything to you know, it doesn't, as far as I know, it doesn't really, you know, do anything to your character, make them stronger or weaker, but it's just a nice touch that adds a little role-playing flair, you know, or ambiance to your character to give yourself a backstory. I know my good friend Grumpy Scamp, or you know, just Scamp, but his channel name is Grumpy Scamp. You know, he's quite fond of putting you know, giving a backstory to his character, and I really love that. He'll talk about that or even put it in the description box. So, you know, you can, if you look in his description box, he, you know, he gives a little backstory to his character, and I think that might be only for the first episode or two, but then I think he kind of summarizes a bit of what the episode is going to be about. It's been a while, but I do know that he, you know, provides a little backstory to it. So it kind of reminds me of that, this thing. So I do like that. And in addition to this, you can even add even more backstory to the one that's given, you know, to the origin. You can, you know, add to this, you know, or, you know, or put more detail into this if you like, you know, when you are, you know, giving maybe a backstory to your character if you're let's playing, you know, this game. Okay, so for example, for the High Elf, we have Somerset Isle and Oregon. You grow up among great towers of Eleanor, and these are all places from ESO, I visited them, that nearly touch the sky. You spent countless hours climbing and navigating the sunlit streets of the Somerset capital, or if you choose your origin to be from Oregon. Born on the island of Oregon, you were proud to live on the first island of the Somersets. There you spent countless hours swimming in the pristine waters. I love that, you know. And here, okay, for an orc, you can come from a stronghold or from Orsinium, which I think that's the capital of Rothgarian Mountains. I don't know too much about the orcs, but we'll look at that. Your fate was decided when you were born. As a member of a stronghold, you would serve your chieftain with honor and would make the orcs proud. Your charisma and resilience were honed for when you would serve. Okay, and from Orsinium, you are proud to have been raised in Orsinium, where you trained to be as versatile a warrior as possible. As such, you are better with magic than most other orcs. Ooh, I love that. Now, I mean, I think it would be asking too much, you know, to make it so that, say you pick something like this, and you create your orc, you have a bit more magicka than, you know, than usual, than say if you picked a stronghold. So maybe it won't do that for all races, but you know, there's certain ones, like I think the Breton had something. Okay, Sistrus. As a child, you were always spending time on the docks of one of the islands, gaining some money by helping merchants carrying the goods and learning from their adventures. So maybe here you can be slightly stronger, maybe slightly elevated strength. What? Oh, okay, that's a default man. Or what I think is weird is this guy. This is the Imperial. You know, it's completely different from, you know, original Oblivion, right? But anyways, yeah. And then High Rock, being from High Rock, which is one I picked, you were raised into homeland of the Bretons. Going through all the great cities of the province made you quick on your feet. So something like this. Was there speed? Yeah, speed. Yeah, yeah. You know, have a little bit more speed. So wait a minute. Ah, what the? It does shit. Look at this. Oh, okay. Oh, I like this. All right, so, fuck. This is. Yeah. Orsinium. So, we're magically inclined. Epic stronghold. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, that's. I love that. You see that? Okay, so it actually does something. Okay, so I'm glad they did that. I guess it was not asking too much for them to do something like this, because you know, even if it was just the background and they didn't do something like this, and I suppose it's not so hard to do it anyways. I think that's more of, you know, what Bethesda had in line originally for you know, for Oblivion back in the day to you know, when deciding an origin. So I thought that's super cool. I love that. Okay, let's go back to main menu. You know, I'm not going to go through all of that. I just kind of wanted to you know, talk about that. And what I think I will do now here is
well met.
and again, hopefully, you know, it's not, you know, you're not hearing my fan. It's not as loud, or maybe you can't really hear it at all. I don't know, but I have both my, you know, just my house fan and my PC fans, you know, going. It's not so bad, you know. It's, the temperature is 58. Something else I learned, you know, I'm always worried about my GPU temps. You know, when I see it going up to like 70, 72, you know, 71, I get worried. But you know, I know, because I always look this up, even though I know it. I'll still like look it up from time to time. I don't know why. It's like I said, it's like an OCD thing. But that, you know, even if it's not abnormal for the temps to even go up to 80, 85, and people are saying it's when it hits like 95 and it's always hitting that and it's staying that high for a long time, that you have to kind of, that you do have to worry and investigate that. So my temps don't even go up to, you know, the 80s. It's like 72, maybe for like seconds or so, or you know, 10 seconds it might hit like 75, even up to 77 if it's, you know, a lot of effects, you know, on the screen, and it's you know, a lot of depth to, you know, what's on screen, then it will hit that. But then it just starts to drop down again. And as I said, like right now, I'm shocked, you know, it's 54. But let me take a look at something here. Did the DLSS? Okay, I have that on balance. Someone was saying, I think it was Gaming Bolt. He said he had it on DLSS and something else, or maybe it was higher, and he said it was bricking their PC. It bricked two of their PC, and I think brick means it basically it killed their machine, or, you know. So mine seems to be okay, but I don't. He had it like all this crazy shit over here, like all high and this shit. So, and that was screwing it up. So I don't think mine are too bad. You know, it's a mixture of high and medium. I don't have anything ultra, you know, for the settings. You know, after doing thorough investigation on what people consider to be like a good compromise between FPS and you know, quality, you know, this is what I came up with. What I didn't come up with, but what I discovered and have used myself, and it seems to be working fine. No crashes. Okay, once again, no crashing to desktop, no locking up, none of that. It seems just to be fine. What I wanted to do actually is go through. Why aren't you guys talking? You guys normally would do that, right? Okay, well, whatever. Oh shit! 1 to open character. Okay, there we are. Okay, I just wanted to maybe examine, or not examine, but more thoroughly what's the word? Why am I having a hard time with this? More thoroughly investigate the, you know, the character menu and the journal, and just kind of explore it a bit and see what we have, you know, because I'm always intrigued, and I'm one of my most favorite things about an RPG is this type of a screen, and the inventory, the magic, the quest log, and the journal and record keeping and the codexes, and you know, if a game has a bestiary, you know, that's, you know, a bonus for me, where a bestiary basically keeps track of the creatures you come across, you know, the enemies and monsters, and you can read about them, and it, you know, kind of like with what Witcher has, right? And there's also one for as a mod in Daggerfall. But anyways, yeah, let's take a look at all of this. I think this is really nice. Something else, there are changes, I want to say, to skills. Okay, and the way the leveling works is what the guy said in the video, and it's kind of vague, and I delved a bit more into it, so I know what he means now. The leveling system is a cross between Oblivion and Skyrim, so you get the best of both. And what that means exactly is that when you do level up, first of all, before it was only your 7 major skills in, you know, original Oblivion. Your 7 major skills level you up. So you know, if you would increase any one of your major skills, it contributes towards your level. But now it's both combination of your major and minor skills, and I guess the advantage of, you know, picking skills for your major is you start, you know, much higher, and well, as you can see, that's true. You start, I think, 20 points into it to begin with, you know, on your major skills. I think these major skills may level up slightly faster, but I'm not too sure. I would imagine they would. That makes sense. But in any case, it's both major skills and minor skills that contribute toward your level, which is much like Skyrim. So that's where the Skyrim part of it comes in. It's all your skills, right? But then the way Oblivion was, you know, original Oblivion, say if you used more blade, which I think the governing attribute for that would be strength, and I think, let's say this one, I think it's intelligence, right? Could be wrong, but let's just say it's intelligence. Will it tell me? No. I don't know why it didn't tell me. But I guess, see, it doesn't really matter. Okay, but say you used this a lot and this one, which let's just say it increases intelligence, you would get a multiplier to, like, say, a times 4, times 5 to your strength, and times 3 or 4 also to your intelligence. But even if you worked on your minor skills, you know, these work toward, you know, the multiplier as well to the attribute. It doesn't work that way anymore. Instead, every level you would get a flat 12 virtue points, and you can pick 3 attributes, you know, and put up to 5 points, except for luck. I think for every 1 luck it takes up 4, but you can put up to 5 points into any 3 that you pick. So 5 here in strength if you want, 5 here to to agility, and let's just say 1 here, right? And that would bring it up to 57, but you used up 4. I think it was 4. It was something like that. But or say you don't want luck. Say you want personality, speed, and strength. So you can put your 5 points into those. So that's how that works. Okay. And also, the way the attributes work. It's now agility that, see, as you can see, it affects the amount of damage you deal with daggers, short swords, and bows. And I think daggers and short swords, it was strength that it, the higher your strength, the more damage you did with the daggers and short swords. So they reworked the way these attributes work. Endurance and how it increases your health is now retroactive. So you don't have to worry about pumping up your endurance right away. You can, say you go 10 levels without even working on your endurance, and then finally at level 11 you dump a bunch of points into your endurance, and then it's going to give you the hit points as if you had that high endurance all along right to begin with. So it's it's retroactive in that way. And there's many other changes that I don't remember them all, and you can kind of look that up. So it literally is the best of both worlds of Oblivion and Skyrim. They fused it together. So I do like that. Just kind of, okay, I'm in no faction yet. I do love that. That's great. Yeah, see, this is good. People killed. That must be that one, highwayman that was trying to rob me, the Khajiit. The inventory. I'm still fine with this because I know people are complaining that this should have been better. I do agree, yeah, maybe there should have been a section for just the books and the notes that you find to separate it from, like this. You don't have to scroll through all this just to get to your books. Well, even Skyrim, right, it has a books and notes category. But overall, I'm still fine with it, and I think this is the way it was anyways in, vanilla Oblivion. So it's faithful like that, in that regard, and a lot of the quirkiness is still there, and the awkward dialogue that the NPCs can have. Oh, look at that. Has a, see that on the right? A symbol, like on the right side of the book. Perhaps I like that. Okay, target spells. Okay, these are all spells. Active effects. So I love this layout, and I love how this now feels like an actual book in here. So when you're going through your quests, it feels like an actual journal. One thing I do wish that this game had, and I think it's one of the things that Skyrim has over this one, is I wish this game had bards, but it doesn't. And it would have been cool for them to integrate that. They would have added that, but again, I think the whole idea behind this remaster was to make it as faithful as possible, but making some changes that make sense. Okay, completed quest. Oh, okay, here. See, yeah, inspect. So you can go a little bit more further into it. Oops. Yeah, see, I love this. This is how you do a journal. Because I have to say, the journal keeping and record keeping in vanilla or original Oblivion was really, really good, much like Morrowind. To me, it was Morrowind and Oblivion that had the best journal, and Skyrim was very lackluster for me, their journal. But this, I guess it's more or less the same, but it looks better instead of just everything down, which I was fine with at the time, but seeing it in this format is much better. You can go to different panels, and you can read step by step of your journey through this quest. So skip to current step. Oh, see, I love that. Yeah, so So if you start off over here, you just want to see the, yeah, it's great. Help. Oh, look at that. So if you need to, look, it has its own manual, you know, user manual in here. This is so good. So there we go, my friends. You see that? It's the user manual all in here. So if you're absolutely new to Elder Scrolls or to Oblivion and all you know is Skyrim, then, you know, this would be good. Alright, so I think that is it. I'm very pleased with just this whole UI here and this whole thing. It's great. Okay, so I'm going to end it, play this back, and hopefully my voice is coming out fine.